Hi, I'm Monty Griffin. Welcome to Raised on MTV. I was raised on MTV, videotapes, and scrambled porn. And I think I turned out all right. My ex-girlfriends might say differently, but oh well. I am a Gen Xer and I am proud. I am closer to 70 than 30, unfortunately, but hey, everybody ages. Still have incredible hair, which is all that matters. My generation was not the first to be raised while watching TV, but we're the first generation to be raised watching cable TV. That's right. ESPN, CNN, and the glorious MTV was a major part of the Gen Xers' lives. We still read newspapers and magazines. We watched the cable channels with our friends. We would talk about the videos we'd watched the night before with our classmates. The towns that had MTV were definitely cooler than the towns that did not. Gen Xers grew up with our moms watching the Sonny and Cher variety show. We didn't get it, but we still watched it with our mom anyways. But then they decided, hey, let's give a show to Donnie Marie Osmond, the Donnie and Marie show, which we got. That was for us. I definitely was a little bit more rock and roll. And then some executive did cocaine in the mid 70s and said, we should take the most popular kid show and make it a variety show. Dumb idea, but yet 49 years ago last week, the Brady Bunch hour came. That's right, the Brady Bunch cast, minus Eve Plum, and a variety show. What could go wrong? Well, it only lasted 9 episodes, but never fear, the Bradys would come back in TV shows, movies in the 80s and 90s, and they're probably still with us today. Variety Hour was produced by Sid and Marty Krofft, the same people that gave us Saturday morning TV, like HR, Puff and stuff that we grew up watching, loving. It was demented, but we still watched Land of the Lost, Sigmund the Sea Monster. We also had Scooby Doo, yay! And then years later, Cartoon Network in 1994 would show those cartoons that we watched in the early 70s. And I watched them again, like Josie and the Pussycats. And I still had a crush on the same blonde girl I did 20 years before. I guess I have a type. Gen Xers went through the 70s, 80s, and 90s watching music, TV, and movies change. As they changed, so did we. We started the 70s watching Laugh Olympics. In the mid 70s, we got into Bruce Lee movies and we're shocked to find out he died a few years before. We watched Happy Days, yay, but for some reason we watched it for the 4 seasons after which he left. We just didn't know better. 1980 started, and then we lost John Lennon. That was our day the music died. Paul McCartney started in the 80s as the most successful ex-Beatle, but at the 80s ended, George Harrison had taken that title. MTV told us we were cool. Gen Xers even got our own Woodstock Band Aid, which is way bigger than Woodstock. It was on 2 continents, and everyone played. Woodstock didn't have any Beatles. Band Aid had Beatle reunion rumors, even though Paul McCartney did play it, albeit with a broken mic. Still counts. More than 40 years later, no one remembers Band Aid, but I still remember. We had the best athletes ever. We had Michael Jordan, John McEnroe, Bo Jackson, Andre Agassi, Sugar Ray Leonard. Our athletes were not on steroids. Cocaine, yes. Steroids, no. We didn't have load management. We didn't have pitch counts. We didn't have any of that. Our athletes could be out all night drinking, gambling, and still win the big game. We came to play. Most importantly, we came to win. Our movies didn't need IP. We actually read the comic books. We came out in droves to see an original movie like Back to the Future. We didn't need CGI for our special effects. We had George Lucas and Steven Spielberg making them right. The kids who watched these movies became the Tarantinos, the Andersons, Wes and PT, the Smiths, and the Rodriguezes of the 90s and beyond. We learned from the 70s passion for the films with the 80s marketing smarts. We took filmmaking to new heights until IP killed it. So what happened? Did Gen X fail the generations beyond us? I don't know. We're going to explore what happened in the past to see what may have happened in the future. When was the last time a great TV show stuck their landing? Sure as hell wasn't Game of Thrones. Saturday Night Live hasn't made good in years. Raised on MTV is a multimedia platform with blogs, videos, maybe even a book. I'm going to explore the past to see how we got here and how we can fix it. Thank you, and see you next time.